Hey guys, today we're going to be taking a look at stats and how they worked in the Destiny beta. I'm hoping not too much of this changes in the final release of the game, but we'll see. There are 4 stats in the game that come on armor: Strength, Discipline, Intellect, and Light. There are also the stats Armor, Recovery, and Agility, but those stats are specific to your subclasses and we won't be talking about those stats in this video. Discipline reduces the cooldown of your grenade ability. In the beta, at all levels, it took 1 minute for your grenade to come back from cooldown, exactly 1 minute. The more discipline you have, the faster your grenade will come back. In the beta, the level cap was 8. It took 54 discipline to reach 100% effectiveness in cooldown reduction. Anything above 54 discipline at level 8 is a waste. At 100% effectiveness in cooldown reduction, it took 20 seconds for your grenade to come back from cooldown. That's 40 seconds off the cooldown. That's 3 grenades in 1 minute instead of 1. Strength reduces the cooldown of your melee attack. In the beta, at all levels, it took 1 minute for your melee attack to come back from cooldown, exactly 1 minute. All of the numbers for strength are the exact same as discipline. It took 54 strength to reach the 100% cap at level 8, and anything else above it was a waste. At 100% effectiveness, it took 20 seconds for your melee to come back. That's 40 seconds off the cooldown, 3 melee attacks in 1 minute. What I mean by melee is your actual melee ability that you have in your skill tree. You can melee while your melee ability is on cooldown, but it obviously does not get the bonuses or the elemental damage it has until it gets back from cooldown. Stormfist deals arc damage. If I melee while Stormfist is waiting to recharge, it'll just deal regular damage. Intellect reduces the cooldown of your super ability. There was no gear in the beta that we could wear that had Intellect on it. There was gear in the alpha with Intellect, but there's obviously no way of knowing if numbers have changed at all from the alpha to the beta. However, you'll see later in the video that the Intellect stat functions the same way that Strength and Discipline do in terms of effectiveness per stat point. What Intellect actually does is speed up the passive super meter gain. When you're not killing things, your super meter will still charge, although incredibly slowly. Having more Intellect speeds up this passive charge. Light increases your level. Increasing your level increases the damage that your abilities do. As you can see from this screenshot, it says, to increase your level above 20, find and equip armor which contains light. Earning XP now creates motes of light. I'm not going to be focusing on the motes of light part at all in this video. Light functions just like strength, discipline, and intellect. It'll be on your armor. If you put armor on with light, provided there's enough light on it to increase your level, it'll increase your level. If you take that armor off, you will lose your level and your level will go down. The same goes for anything with strength, discipline, or intellect on it. You put the gear on, you get the benefits. You take that gear off or switch it, you lose the benefits of the first piece and gain the benefits of the new piece. I didn't think I would have to explain that. Apparently I do. Here's what we do not know about light. We do not know if it has any negative effects. We do not know how much light it takes to increase by 1 level, and we do not know what the highest level you can be is via stacking a lot of light. If you watched the IGN video of the level 29 Titan, linked in the description if you haven't, you might have seen that he had 118 light. 118 light divided by 9 levels is equal to 13.1 light per level. It would take 13.1 light to increase your level by 1, but that might only apply for level 29. If light operates like the other stats, it would take less light at earlier levels to gain a level, so that 13.1 number might only apply specifically to players at level 29 trying to get to level 30, if there is a level 30. It's possible that to go from level 20 to level 21 takes less light than it does to go from level 21 to 22 or level 27 to 28, which segues us very nicely into the next part of the video. At level 8, it took 54 strength, 54 discipline to reach 100% effectiveness at level 8. But what about all the other levels? Well, we don't know just yet. But I took it upon myself to attempt to figure out the numbers based on the numbers that we had available to us in the beta. The following are all true numbers for the beta. It is totally possible that these numbers get changed in the final version of the game. At level 4, 5 points of a stat gave you 23% effectiveness, 7 points gave you 32%, and 9 points gave you 41%. That's 4.6, 4.57 and 4.55% per point. The percent bonus varies right now because the stats are so small in number. The game does some rounding, so we'll just say at level 4, 1 point of a stat gave you about 4.57% increase in effectiveness. Increase in effectiveness in this case means your abilities come back faster. At level 5, 5 points of a stat gave you 19% effectiveness, 7 points was estimated to give 26%, and 9 points gave you 33%. That's an average of around 3.7% effectiveness per stat point. So as you level up, it's going to take more and more of a stat to get the same effectiveness as the levels previous. For the sake of speeding things along, here's some data showing levels 6, level 7, and level 8. Level 6 is somewhere in between 2.9 and 3% per point, level 7 is somewhere around 2.33% per point, and level 8 is somewhere around 1.85% per point. This next section gets a little math heavy, bear with me, I'll try and make it as simple as I can. So I plotted all these points on a graph. On the x-axis is our level, on the y-axis is our percent effectiveness per point. For the rest of this video, I'm going to reference effectiveness per point as EPP, it's just easier to say. The red line is our EPP stat line. So you can see from the real data that the difference in EPP is pretty large at low levels. You lose 0.9% per point when going from level 4 to level 5. When you go from 5 to 6, you only lose 0.7% per point, and that difference gets less severe as you gain levels. So if we want to predict future levels, we're either going to need an exponential or a power trend line. So I tried out some formulas and trend lines and landed on one that seemed pretty reasonable. That formula is y equals 29.53x to the negative 1.309, where y is the percent EPP and x is your level. This formula is not the exact formula used in the game, it is only an estimate, but it is very close. So you plug in your level to x and y spits out your percent EPP. Now for lower levels the numbers are a bit off, but as you get into higher levels the numbers get more reasonable. Using this formula, level 20 would give you a 0.585% EPP, which would make the cap 171. If we take a look at some level 20 gear that was available in the beta, you'll see that this is a pretty reasonable number. I took a set of random pieces of gear available from the Dead Orbit vendor. If you wear this set of armor on screen right now, you'd have 72 light, 107 intellect, 215 strength, and 110 discipline. Just disregard the light stat for now, even though we really shouldn't because these numbers are balanced with the light stat in mind. We're just looking for examples. You would be way over the strength cap, would be at 110 discipline, which gives 64% effectiveness, and your intellect would give you 62% effectiveness. These numbers are reasonable, but that's all they are, reasonable. They are not confirmed in any way, this is all my math based on what we saw in the beta. But let's take this a step further. In IGN's video of the level 29 Titan, they hovered over the stats of the Titan. 66 discipline gave 24% effectiveness, 167 intellect gave 61%, and 242 strength gave 89%. Now we just estimated that the cap was 171, and this guy's strength is at 242 and is not at the cap. This tells us that the light levels function in the same way as regular levels do, that increasing your level, regardless of how you increase it, will require more of a stat to get the same effectiveness. If we expand the stat line using the formula we came up with, we'll see that at level 29 you get 0.3597% EPP, let's round that to 0.36. We'll multiply all of the stats that we saw in the video by 0.36 to test our formula. And look at that. 0.36% times 66 gets us 23.76%, 0.36 times 167 gets us 62.12%, and 0.36 times 242 gets us 87.12%. So our formula is pretty close. It's definitely not exact, but it's pretty close. Once again, this formula is not the formula being used in Destiny, it is just an estimate based on the stats that we had available to us in the game. All that being said, it's pretty close. If we were to check the stat cap at level 29, we would just divide 242 by 89, where we get 2.72, which is rounded. If we check the other two stats, 66 divided by 24 and 167 divided by 61, we get 2.75 and 2.74. Those numbers, 2.72, 0.74, and 0.75, are the amount of a stat that you need to reach 1% effectiveness. Multiply all of them by 100 and we get 272 to 275, which means you need somewhere in between 272 and 275 of a stat to reach the stat cap at level 29, and that number is true. So if your brain exploded during all of that, let's recap. Your melee and your grenade have a cooldown of 1 minute with no stats. At 100% effectiveness, your melee and your grenade will have a 20-second cooldown. This number is true at all levels. You'll need more of a stat as you increase your level to keep the same effectiveness. This includes levels gained with light. The stat cap at level 20 is estimated to be 171. Now I must reiterate, these numbers are according to the beta. For all we know, the final release of the game might change some stuff around. If it does, I will make a new video with updated information. If you're interested more about theory crafting and the hard numbers of Destiny, check out theory crafting website starsideelite.com. Make sure to bring your A game, as this forum is aiming to be a serious place for those interested in the numbers of Destiny. But that will do it for me, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, a positive rating is always appreciated. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.